I think
that's cold.
Yeah,
That's tight.
I think Holloway's motivated, like, and I can see Holloway winning. To be honest, don't know why. I think it's just one of them.
Yeah, this ain't happening yet. So at the end of the day, I'm good friends with Korean Zombie. I retired one legend. You know what I mean? So.
Paddy Pimblett isn't holding back. He's betting on Max Holloway to crash Dustin Poirier's retirement party in explosive fashion at UFC 318. The upcoming clash between Holloway and Poirier isn't just another fight, it's the main event of UFC 318, and it carries heavy emotional and career weight for both fighters. For Dustin Poirier, this bout marks the end of an era. Taking place in his home state of Louisiana, this will be his retirement fight, his farewell to the octagon after a long and storied career.
I'm gonna try my best to be in a moment on fight week, and just because this is the last time I'm ever gonna feel these morning jitters of fight day and walking into the arena, I'll never feel this again. So I want to put on a show. I want to go out with a bang, and I want it to be fight of the night, fight of the year. Yeah, I'm expecting stitches.
The stakes couldn't be higher, and emotions are bound to be running high in front of his home crowd. And while Poirier already owns 2 wins over Holloway, one by submission back in 2012 and another by decision in 2019, some feel this third fight might not follow the same pattern.
It's not Dustin Poirier's last fight, but I think if you can be his last fight and get one back, it would be sad, but at the same time, a win for you.
That'd be nice. The Diamond, sign me up, bro. I love that guy. I got nothing but respect for the guy, but he is up 2-0 against my and I don't have the best luck. I guess I gotta try it again.
I mean, he doesn't have a UFC belt, so the BMF can be something tempting for him.
Hey, I like the way you think, bro. UFC needs to hire your ass.
Paddy Pimblett is also one of those people. He recently shared his thoughts on a podcast with Eric Nixick, where he offered an unexpected prediction. According to Pimblett, Holloway's drive to settle old scores might be what pushes him over the line. Holloway, after all, hasn't forgotten what Poirier took from him. It wasn't just the loss in his UFC debut, it was also the end of a 13-fight win streak and the missed opportunity to become a 2-division champion when they fought for the interim lightweight belt.
No, that's what I mean. Imagine it'd be heavy for Holloway that, like, if there's 2 different fighters who've beat him 3 times.
Yeah.
But
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I seen him say something like, he took a lot from me. He took give me my first loss, and he took away me like 8-fight win streak or whatever it was. So I'm gonna take his retirement fight.
Pimblett reflected on Holloway's mindset, saying that the Hawaiian appears deeply motivated by what's at stake. He believes Holloway has revenge on his mind and sees this fight as a chance to finally take something meaningful from Poirier, especially as the fan favorite heads into retirement.
So I think
that's cold.
Yeah,
that's tight. Yeah,
I think Holloway's motivated, like, and I can see Holloway winning. To be honest, don't know why. I think it's just one of them. Dustin fighting in his hometown, his last fight, everyone expects him to win. The pressure. I think it might.
Man, you picked Holloway too. Like, he could have probably picked someone that was a little more favorable. You know what I mean? Like,
well, you know why?
I think it's a bit more favorable because he's beat him twice, though.
Sure, I think so. I think so. Yeah, but I mean, it's also the business move because you need to have a title for a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And that's, you don't need that.
Right?
That's what I was thinking. Who's going to walk out first? Who's going to walk out second? Because they're saying
you can't have Poirier walk out first.
That's what I mean. And they're saying it's the BMF belt, his own town. He's coming out.
The significance of this bout extends beyond their personal history. Holloway enters the octagon as the current BMF champion, a title that brings extra flair and fanfare to UFC events. He's looking to bounce back in a big way following his first ever knockout loss, which came at the hands of Ilia Topuria at UFC 309.
I mean, I'm 0-2 against him. You know what I mean? And then Hawaii is 3. He's 0-3 against him because Jans fought him too. So. Yeah, he fought Yance in Louisiana, actually. I kind of just got told that from one of our coaches, so I was like, man, we gotta get this back, bro. Hawaiian gotta get one, bro.
That defeat was a brutal moment for Holloway, who had built his reputation on durability and high-volume striking. But far from being broken, Holloway seems determined to rise again, this time possibly in the lightweight division, where a win over Poirier could position him for a future showdown with Topuria, who has since moved up to 155 pounds.
Yeah, this ain't happening yet, so at the end of the day, I'm good friends with Korean Zombie. I retired one legend. You know what I mean? So, hopefully we can keep the ball rolling on retirements, and I can get this one.
Interestingly, this matchup wasn't Dustin Poirier's first choice for his final fight. As he explained in an interview, Poirier had originally hoped for a clash with either Justin Gaethje or Ilia Topuria, fighters he saw as more exciting or meaningful opponents for his last stand. He even reached out directly to UFC executive Hunter Campbell when Topuria made the move to lightweight, expressing his interest in that fight. However, the UFC shut that idea down quickly. They had a different plan, a trilogy fight with Max Holloway. Despite the previous results, the promotion saw the value in a third bout between two of the sport's most beloved figures.
Not once. Actually, when he said he was going to 55, I text Hunter. I texted the UFC. I said, hey, what's up? Let me know what's going on with this guy now. He's at 55. But they never entertained it. They told me it's not happening, and they wanted Max.
While Poirier looked sharp in his recent training footage, showcasing crisp combinations and fast exchanges, not all fans were convinced. Some viewers, after watching the clips, felt that Holloway might still have the edge. A number of fans boldly predicted that Blessed could actually knock Poirier out on July 19th. It's a surprising claim considering Poirier's track record against him, but it speaks volumes about the respect Holloway commands and the belief people have in his ability to evolve. There's also the psychological element. Curtis Blades pointed out that the pressure might actually be heavier on Poirier this time around. Fighting at home in front of a crowd that will be both emotionally invested and expectant could make this a more stressful night than usual. Add to that the fact that it's his final appearance, and the weight of the moment could be overwhelming. Everyone expects him to go out on a high note, and that expectation brings a pressure Holloway doesn't carry in quite the same way.
I have no idea. It's just gonna be a war. It'll probably go to decision. I hope it goes to a decision. It's gonna be an epic fight. I want Holloway to win just because I'm a Igor Holloway fan. I am Poirier, but I'm a fan of them both. But I'm a Igor Holloway guy.
So you're going with Holloway or going with Poirier?
I'm gonna go with Holloway, but I wouldn't be upset if it was Poirier. I respect him that much, and I know it's gonna be a war.
On the other hand, Holloway has nothing to lose and everything to gain. A win not only gives him the satisfaction of avenging his past defeats, but it could also place him back in title contention in a new weight class. Given his existing legacy as one of the greatest featherweights of all time, a resurgence at lightweight would only further cement his place in UFC history.
How many fights? I mean, it's up to her. I mean, I would like to fight. I'm like, as long as, to me, my fighting career is gonna go as long as I can still compete with the top echelon. You know, when I get to the point where, that I'm not competing with the top guys and it kind of just looks like I'm barely hanging in there with guys who's not top and like mid guys, then it's like, bro, you need to go. So it could be from anywhere, as long as I can keep my body healthy. I mean, ideally, maybe. If I could tell you right now, I think I'd have like 2 more years, so maybe like four fights, 4 fights, maybe 5 fights, 2-3 more years, but we see what happens. Anything change,
Former UFC lightweight champion Eddie Alvarez believes that announcing retirement before a fight often marks a dangerous mental shift. In his view, once a fighter publicly commits to hanging up the gloves, their mindset inevitably changes, and not for the better. Alvarez has seen this pattern repeat countless times. When athletes enter the cage already thinking it's the end, their performances tend to suffer. According to him, even the best training camps can't overcome a mentally checked out fighter. Based on his experience, those who pre-plan their exit lose roughly 70 to 80% of the time.
And I never like when guys pre-commit to being finished and then still fighting their last fight. When over time, as I watch that happen, the guy that I watch, maybe it could be like 70-80% of the time that guy doesn't win.
Good. You're saying 78% of the time that guy.
I think like 70-80% of the time, like in the past, when I see guys announce that this is their last fight, like in your mind, you already know I'm done fighting. And I don't know if that's the right mentality to go into the competition with. I just don't know. I don't like it, and I never feel good about it.
Even with his concerns about retirement affecting performance, Eddie Alvarez still sees Dustin Poirier as having the right skill set to get the job done against Max Holloway. He pointed out that stylistically, the matchup leans in Poirier's favor. Both fighters are high-level strikers known for their volume and precision, setting the stage for what promises to be a fast-paced, technical stand-up battle. Alvarez leans slightly toward Poirier because of how their styles align, but he's well aware that Holloway is never an easy fight. He respects the Hawaiian's toughness and relentless pace, knowing full well that Max has the tools to push any opponent to the brink.
The style matchup, I mean, I think Dustin wins the fight, but Max is not a pushover for anyone, so it's going to be a beautiful boxing match. Some of the best boxing, we're going to see inside the cage.
The stakes at UFC 318 extend far beyond titles or rankings. For Dustin Poirier, this fight marks the end of a remarkable journey, a final chapter he hopes to finish with pride in his home state of Louisiana. After 16 years of unforgettable wars, emotional setbacks, and career-defining victories, he's preparing to walk away from the sport that shaped his legacy. Stepping into the cage at the Smoothie King Center in New Orleans, surrounded by his people, Poirier believes there's no more fitting opponent to share his farewell moment with than Max Holloway.
Seems like you like trilogies now. How did this come together that he would be the final opponent?
I don't even know how this came together, but yeah, I've been in some trilogies now, I guess. This one's different. Usually it's like 1-1, or I'm 2-0 on Max, but he's a legend and a great fighter and a great champion, and like we spoke about earlier, just see the things he's done in his career from that young kid I fought in his debut. All the way full circle, I was his first fight in the UFC. Now he's gonna be my last fight in the UFC. So it's just, it's crazy. But when I lay the gloves down in July, there's nobody else that I would rather have fought my last fight than Max Holloway.
Interestingly, Dustin Poirier had sparked speculation of a trilogy with Justin Gaethje after teasing a third showdown on social media, prompting fans to believe that was the retirement bout in the works. However, those rumors were quickly put to rest when the UFC revealed Max Holloway as his final opponent. While a Gaethje trilogy would have delivered fireworks, the Holloway matchup carries just as much, if not more, emotional weight. It's a clash between two warriors who have played pivotal roles in shaping the modern era of both the lightweight and featherweight divisions.
I think you have a massive announcement to make as well with the city of New Orleans and yourself, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, we're coming back to New Orleans. The UFC's coming back to New Orleans in July 19th. It's going to be my final fight. I'm going to lay the gloves down in Louisiana, where it all started for me. The whole journey started there, and I'm just honored to have the UFC on the same page and the state of Louisiana on the same page to make all this work. I didn't know if it was going to all come together, but it did. July 19th. Me and Max Holloway are going to fight 5 rounds, main event, pay-per-view for his current BMF title.
Hell yeah.
Max is a legend. I said legends only. There's not a better guy I can think to fight in my retirement fight. I was his first fight in the UFC back in 2012, and he's going to be my last fight in the UFC. So
Charles Oliveira, who has faced both Dustin Poirier and Max Holloway in the octagon, also weighed in on the matchup. Although his fight with Holloway ended early due to an injury, Oliveira got a glimpse of the Hawaiian's strengths. He acknowledged Holloway's relentless pace, constant movement, and high-volume striking as major assets. However, when comparing the two, Oliveira gave the edge to Poirier in terms of pure boxing skills.
Quando eu lutei com o Holloway, eu não tive a luta, né, porque foi muito rápido, por causa que eu tive uma lesão, né, eu acho o Holloway um cara que se movimenta muito, um cara que pega, mas, cara, o Dustin Poirier é um cara que eu tenho respeito gigantesco.
According to him, Dustin fights with more precision and heavier hands, making him a more dangerous striker overall. Oliveira even went as far as calling Poirier the best boxer he's ever faced in MMA. Add in the emotional factor of fighting at home, and Oliveira thinks Dustin might have the edge.
Pra mim, de todos que eu lutei, é o cara que tem um boxe mais afiado, é o cara que bate mais consciente, tem a mão muito pesada, né? Sabe jogar o jogo, vai lutar na casa praticamente, então eu acho que o Poirier ganha. O Poirier tá muito mais consciente, tá ligado? Eu acho que, tipo, vai lutar muito consciente, muito malandro pra se tornar campeão. É a última luta dele, é aposentadoria, então vai lutar muito mais consciente do que já.
All the attention, however, remains glued to the main event. It's more than just a fight. It's a story of redemption, legacy, and the unforgiving nature of combat sports. Poirier, a fan favorite known for his grit and humility, wants to walk away on his terms. After years of wars with names like Gaethje, McGregor, and Oliveira, this fight feels like the right end to a storied career.
Dustin Poirier, Max Holloway at the Smoothie King Arena. This is going to be sensational because both of these men have had glittering careers. As I say, this is the final time we're going to get to see Dustin Poirier fight, and it'll be an emotional night inside that building, I'm telling you. Dustin Poirier is a great human being, a phenomenal fighter, and some of the performances have just been incredible. Let's have a look at his record here. The man overall has had 40 professional fights, 30 wins, 9 losses. Of course, last time out lost to Islam Makhachev. Before that, Benoit Saint-Denis, a crazy fight, okay, where he got the stoppage in the second round. After almost getting annihilated in the first round, was head kick knocked out by Justin Gaethje. That was another one. That potentially could have been the final fight for Dustin Poirier.
The Smoothie King Center will be rocking on July 19th, not just for the quality of fights on the card, but for the magnitude of what's on the line. It's a farewell that fans won't want to miss, not just because it could be the final time they see Poirier compete, but because the matchup itself could be one for the ages.
Dustin just got off the Pat McAfee show, and Dustin went on and announced that he will be fighting Max in New Orleans. And it wasn't just the UFC getting on board with this, it was also New Orleans. New Orleans came to the table with a pile of money to get this event to New Orleans, right? And I just think that's very respectful. Generally, I wouldn't mention something like that, but I think that's very respectful to Poirier. And I think the way that the organization is treating Poirier, look, nobody gets to go out on top. And if you're good enough to, if you're Robbie Lawler and you're George St. Pierre or you're Lennox Lewis or you're Khabib, and you can pull out one of those moments.
As UFC 318 approaches, anticipation continues to build. Will Poirier ride off into the sunset with a third win over Holloway, or will Max finally get his revenge and ruin the retirement party? With emotions running high, legends colliding, and unpredictable energy swirling around the matchup, fans are bracing themselves for what could be one of the most memorable fights of the year. Don't miss the action, the drama, and the history in the making. Tune in live on July 19th as two icons write the final chapter of their rivalry. Whether you're Team Diamond or backing Blessed, one thing's for sure, this won't just be a fight, it'll be a moment the MMA world never forgets.